Hi, hello, namaste friends. Welcome to our channel Ace Civil Engineer. For more interesting videos like this, please do subscribe and press the bell icon. In this video, we are going to discuss about the basic differences between a truss and a frame. So with no delay, let us start the concept. So friends, this is how a truss exactly looks like and this is how a frame exactly looks like. So what exactly the difference between a truss and frame here we are going to discuss clearly. Now, the first thing what we need to understand is what exactly a truss means. So, truss is nothing but it is composed of rod members. These are the rod members arranged to form one or more triangles. See, in this case, we have five triangles: one, two, three, four, five. So, this arrangement of uh, triangles is nothing but a truss member. And whereas in the case of frames, this frame structure generally consists of arbitrarily arranged beams. Arbitrarily means in a random manner they are arranged and which are connected rigidly. So all the joints which are connected here, those all are rigid joints, and sometimes it can be of pinned also, but not in all the cases. In most of the cases it is a rigid connection only, and there is no concept of forming triangular arrangement here. So this is the basic difference in the definition of a truss and frame. But how can you differentiate by its characteristics between the truss and frame? So here the first characteristic what I'm going to discuss is regarding the node condition. Here the node condition for a truss is always a pinned connection. So you can see always pinned joints here. Pinned joints means, friends, it will allow relative motion or relative rotation between two, not two, it can be of two or more connecting members. So in this case what I will say is these are always pinned. But whereas in framed structures, this node condition or the node is always a rigid joint. So that's why here I will write it as a rigid. Now coming to the moment transfer, when here the joints are pinned, then there is no scope of transfer of any moment. Am I right, friends? So if you are not allowing, if you are freely allowing the rotation between two consecutive or two connecting members, two or more connecting members, then obviously you are not allowing any transfer when it is free to rotate relatively. So that indicates that there is no moment transfer. But whereas here you can see moment transfer because these all are rigidly connected. So if there is some bending moment in this beam, then what happens, this bending moment is redistributed to the column and the adjacent beam here. This is as simple as that. So here I can say there will be a moment transfer. Whereas load condition, load location, this load location in trusses basically is always applied at the node points. So I can say here I can apply loads only at these joints. So for suppose let us take consider an example in a roof truss. So in the roof truss which are covered by sheets, you usually see some purlin sections. So those purlin sections are basically somewhat like this. So they apply some purlin section either of I shape or Z shape or a channel member, like this they do apply. Why? Because over this a sheet is going to be placed and on that sheet you will see a UDL, but this UDL is not applied on the member of the truss. So this you need to remember very clearly. So whereas this is what is the major difference. So here what exactly happens, the load due to this UDL will be transferred as point loads on these nodes. So here the load location will be always at the joints. So I will write it as at joints always. So whereas in the frames, what I can say is, in frames I can apply load at any place. For example, if there is a slab here, so the slab load will be transferred to the beam and the beam load will be transferred to the column. If you do have some secondary beams, then what happens, the slab load will be transferred to the secondary beam and then it will be transferred to the primary beams, and then from primary beam it gets transferred to the column, and from column it gets transferred to the foundation. That is how the load transfer mechanism happens. So what do you understand here, you can apply the load in any manner and at any location. This is the freedom in having frames. So what I would say here is, at joint, not only at joints, you can apply at any place. So what I'll write it right here as joints or members. So you can apply it at both joints or members. Now coming to the load response. Load response is nothing but how the structure reacts, or how or what type of reactions does it take. So here in truss member, what I can say is, as all the joints are pinned, it can only take the axial load within the connecting member. So here the axial load will be like this somewhat. So as it is a compressive load at the joints, I will show like this, and at this joint you will have tension because this is a bottom member. So here I will write it as tension at this joint, and here also you will see a tension, and here also you will see a tension. But whereas at the top chord members, what you will see, you will always see compression, means towards the joint. So these are the compressive stress, and this is a tensile stress which is acting at the joints. Whereas in this case also, based on the analysis, you can understand whether this is a compression or tension. So this is tension, and these members are subjected to compression. So even in these members also you will see some axial forces, whether it can be of compression or tension, depending on the load location. So here the load response will always be axial force. So, and whereas in the case of frames, when you are applying loads in whatever way we wish, so what happens here exactly is, you can see a shear force being developed. For suppose I am applying a point load at this beam, what can I see? I can see a shear force diagram like this. And another beam, I'll take it as an example. If I'm applying a UDL over this, I can see a bending moment, something like this, right? And if I am seeing this bending moment, and I can also see axial force because of this load, either in this beam also we can see some axial load, and here also we can see some axial load. Thus that axial load will be compression. So I can say it as compression. So here in this you can see all type of load responses. Those are three types. One is axial force, the other one is bending moment, and the other one is shear force. So all these three we do see here. So this is what the basic difference between a truss and a frame member. Thank you, friends. In the next video, we will try to understand what is a determinate structure and what is an indeterminate structure. That's all about this video, friends and family members. If you had any comments, queries, or if you had any topics in your wish list, then please do let me know by commenting in the comment section. I hope you liked the video. If yes, please do like it. I will be creating more interesting videos like this. Please do subscribe to get updated as soon as I keep posting videos. Share my video to all your friends and family members. Don't forget to press the bell icon.